This video is going to be a look at C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans offensive opening act against the New England Patriots in week one of the preseason. Look, the first two possessions with Stroud in the game, make no bones about it. The Texans couldn't run the ball. I think they had 4 carries for 9 yards. Maybe it was 11 yards if I miscounted. The O-line in there just couldn't pass pro. They got beat by a similar stunt 3 times, which I'll try to show you and diagram for you here in a moment when we get to the film. I thought the Patriots coaches picked up on a pass pro tendency in terms of where the center, Juice Scruggs, was sliding. The main reason for this video is twofold. Number one, it's unfair how C.J. Stroud is being painted by like so many different types of people, let's put it that way, on social media, blaming him for the offense, self-destructing in the first 2 possessions, not recognizing like, hey, Dameon Pierce is not playing, and he's their hammer. He's their best player. They're down to like, I don't know, their 5th or 6th offensive tackles at this point. Tunsil's not playing. Howard's out for an injury for a while. Fant isn't playing. They got guys in there that are getting physically overwhelmed, and they couldn't pass pro because of a particular stunt and the way the Patriots were doing it. I did think Stroud was hesitant to get the ball out at times on at least 2 occasions that I'm going to show you here. I think he had the read, and he should get the ball out sooner. The 3rd time, that I'm not even counting here necessarily, he pump fakes, stares down Tank Dell, and throws a pick. So in terms of C.J. Stroud, which is what I'm kind of focusing on, yeah, he's got to get the ball out quicker. But look, Tunsil, Shaq Mason, Howard, Dameon Pierce not playing. It's a complete overreaction to blame this dude. I feel like it's anti-Ohio State type people who maybe are Michigan fans or maybe are SEC fans or whatever that just don't like Ohio State and want to see C.J. Stroud fail, and I don't think he's going to. Let's get to the film. 2 drives, 28 yards, 1 sack, 1 interception, and like 3 quarterback pressures. Yeah, it looked terrible. Texans didn't score till like their 6th possession, I think, when Tank Dell really took over and the Patriots had taken out a lot of their defensive starters. All right, his first play, it's a 3-step drop. It looks pretty comfortable to me. Getting the ball out to Nico Collins, left side in the flats. Perfect call versus cover 3. Look, Stroud spent a lot of time in the shotgun at Ohio State, don't get me wrong, but on this particular 3-step drop from under center, he looks comfortable. However, first of all, the boundary side outside linebacker is late, which makes sense. I mean, he's an outside linebacker getting out into the flats in this cover 3. It should take this outside linebacker longer to get out here to the flats than it will take this nickel strong safety to the other side. Look at the alignment. One of them's on the line of scrimmage, one of them's not. Having said all that, I still think Stroud's a half beat late getting this ball out. It does end up being an 8-yard gain, so it's the right decision, versus cover 3, and he sees it. Having said that, I think he could get the ball out sooner. And when watching the first 2 possessions, I think you'll agree with me, if you watch the whole video, that there's 3 opportunities to get the ball out sooner. This is one of them that you could say is a gray area, but me personally, after watching the first 2 possessions, I think it fits in that same pattern of you got to get the ball out sooner. All right, 2nd and 2, under center, 21 personnel. Just kind of a reverse power play, just counter, really. The tailback counter stepping. The left guard in the center, they can't get the combo accomplished on the nose. So the center and the left guard, working to the nose and then trying to get to this inside linebacker number 3. They can't get it done. 3 scrapes over the top. You can see 3 scraping over the top. Shaq Mason trying to get to him. And then this center just totally tosses, this nose tackle totally tosses the center and then makes the tackle. 1-yard gain for Devin Singletary. 3rd and 1. 22 personnel power to the downside, to the strong side. Both outside linebackers for the Patriots get into the backfield. Neither one of them's getting blocked. I think the fullback's path on this power play, you got all the front side down blocks. Everybody's working down, and this fullback trying to scrape off the wall, be tight to the wall. I think he loops too far outside, and this outside linebacker, 33, gets inside of the kickout block, disrupts the whole damn thing. Now, luckily, Devin Singletary just jukes both of them and gets the first down. I think the fullback's path was just not tight enough to the wall, number 1. And number 2, even though C.J. Stroud, is under center. He's well trained. He's going to boot off of these run plays. So he's going to try to boot off of most of these plays. There's nothing really to hold this outside linebacker either. So you got a short yardage situation and two guys in the backfield. Not good, for the Houston Texans. You would blame it on the offensive line, I guess, in live time, but looking at it, it's really the fullback's fault, and then that outside linebacker to the top side not respecting the boot on 3rd and 1, because, let's be honest, who's going to boot on 3rd and 1? All right, first possession continues because they gained the first down there. This one was interesting to me. It's a 7-step drop on 1st and 10. Dell and Nico Collins are both trying to bring their routes back into the middle of the field. So I'm talking about Dell and Collins. They're both going to try to bring their routes into this area here on this 7-step drop. And I just don't think that either one of them was clean open. Maybe you could get the ball to Collins, but you do have a safety in there in the middle of the field who could, potentially break on it. He certainly would be looking at Stroud and trying to react to what Stroud's going at. Look, the right tackle's beat badly here. Badly. The Texans were often sliding their pass pro into the boundary, meaning the center was stepping to that side, or they were sliding it to the 3 technique. Now, in this case, you have 2-3 techniques. Some people, I'm not using the end zone here, so maybe you want to call one of them a 4-eye, fine. But they're basically going to slide the guard and the center, and step the left guard to this 3 technique to the boundary, and it really isolates the right tackle on the other 3 technique, and he's beat badly. Tailback tries to help him. Doesn't matter. Ends up being a sack. Really no opportunity for Stroud in terms of time. Look, this is not going to be the case with Tunsil, Howard, or even Fant out there at tackle. It's just not going to be the case. It's not fair to judge C.J. Stroud based upon these situations where the Patriots clearly had athletic advantages with their defensive front against the offensive line that the Texans trotted out there. 2nd and 25, Stroud's in the shotgun. The center is working to the 3 technique this time again, and it isolates the left tackle on the left guard. Somewhat similar, except to the other side of the field than the previous play that I told you. I think the Patriots might have known that the center was going to be sliding to the 3 technique on some of these pass pro concepts. So what happens is the guard's going to step down, Kenyon Green, really kind of to the side, and then the tackle is going to take a typical pass pro. It's tough to draw lines to represent what the players are doing in pass pro, and it creates a huge gap between the left tackle and the left guard. With the left tackle pass set, and there's a huge space there, and the DN just runs through it. It's the same stunt to the 1 and the 5 side, to the weak side 3 times. It worked each time for the Patriots. Look, maybe Stroud can get the ball to this tight end. It's man free with a 4-man rush. It's Bill Belichick, and it's 2nd and 25. What do you expect him to play? He's going to play man free with a 4-man rush. That's what he's done dating back, 2 or 3 decades. Maybe Stroud could get the ball out here. Maybe I'm being a little harsh. I'm rooting for the guy. I think there's got to be times where he gets the ball out a little quicker. If he can't get it to the tight end here, underneath this is man on the tight end, right here with a strong safety. And then this is a low hole dropper and a middle of the field dropper. So it's man free with a 4-man rush, inside linebacker in between the hashes, free safety between the hashes. I guess the design of the play may be late. You're looking at trying to get the ball to that in cut with the running back taking that defender out of the play, but C.J. Stroud doesn't have time to get there. That's my overall point. There's things that C.J. Stroud will be able to get accomplished with better pass pro on the field, and he will have better pass pro because, not to be disrespectful to some of these guys, but they're not going to be on the field in the regular season. A lot of these players for the Patriots defense will. All right, so a 4-yard gain on 2nd and 25, 3rd and 21. I think the Texans coaches realized how much trouble their tackles were having, so they went to jokers. So they got a tight end here and a running back next to C.J. Stroud, and they're going to try to chip the DNs to help. Smart. Give the Texans coaches credit for recognizing that. Unfortunately, Stroud throws a pick. What would be my larger concern than just Stroud people have talked about him staring down Tank Dell. My larger concern would be the hesitation. You see him kind of pump fake or double pump here, and he's too late getting the ball out. Part of me wonders if Tank Dell isn't supposed to be breaking this route off earlier. But look, I think you've got basically mirrored routes here with those two, and they both appear to be breaking them off at the same depth. So I'm probably wrong there in saying that I think Dell should be breaking that off shorter, but it's 3rd and 25 or 3rd and 21. Nobody's going to, it's very rare that you're going to get the first down. Nobody's on the tight end. It's 3rd and 21. Stroud would probably want this one back. If you want to say he's got to get the ball to the tight end, who, again, the tight end's here, chipping the D in. If you want to say that, go ahead and say that, fine. But I don't think there's really much that could be accomplished here on this play. And on the first possession, do you have a run game established? No. There's constant pressure on the quarterback. Is there at least 2 instances of slower recognition by Stroud in terms of pulling the trigger and getting the ball out there? Yeah. Overall, it's just a bad recipe on the first possession, no doubt. End zone angle, same play. And you'll see what I mean. I think the Texans are trying to help out with the tackles here and here, at least a thread of it there with that running back releasing. Recognizing the fact they were having trouble with it already. Their guys weren't able to, stand up to the pressure. And you get the interception. So what? It's a preseason interception. C.J. Stroud will be a better player for it. And he'll have better players around him, starting with Dameon Pierce and better offensive tackles. All right, second possession, 21 personnel. Depending on how you want to classify this fullback, number 47. Outside zone kick, I would call it. I'm not sure why the Texans aren't having this receiver go down and get the front side guy. And I think I'll give you the end zone angle, but there's a combo that's going to develop on this D tackle right here. And one of them has to peel off to deal with this guy. A lot of teams are, they're taking their tightly aligned receivers and sending them after the front side inside linebacker or strong safety. Make the corner tackle. That's what so many teams are doing, right? Make the corner tackle. I'm not sure why the Texans aren't having X, who I think is Nico Collins there, work to that front side strong safety, and then that combo could really get some movement and stay on that guy with the front side combo, and the backside combo could deal with this guy. It still ends up being a 5-yard gain. Everybody does this now. I mean, the 49ers are, one of the teams, I guess, that's well known for it, but so many teams do it. End zone angle, same play. So what you're going to get is these two guys stepping here, fullback leading, and what I'm advocating for is, why don't you just go ahead and run the X receiver at this guy, keep him out of there, let this combo here really work on this guy. I think it's a neat play. Everybody does this to make the corner make the tackle, force him to make a tackle. I'm not sure why the Texans aren't doing it. It still ends up being a 5-yard gain. All right, got to give the Patriots credit, man. 2nd and 5, 11 personnel bunch, cover 0. Free rusher off the edge. Patriots are bringing 6. Is the ball high? Yeah, I saw like 3 different people clip this and talk about C.J. Stroud's accuracy, like not recognizing there's an outside linebacker leaping in front of his face. Of course you have to throw it high, or you've got to sidearm it around him. It's man free. I think it's cover 0. It's cover 0. Now the back ends up being covered by this DB, which is a unique aspect of it, if you ask me. I wonder if this linebacker for the Patriots isn't supposed to be responsible for the back, but in any case, they get a free rusher off the edge. Ball's high. Just seems like the criticism of Stroud is just people were waiting for anything. An interception, he slides down, he falls down or slips down on a boot concept. I just saw a lot of hilariously bad takes, in my opinion, that seem to have a grudge against him. I mean, is there that many people out there that are rooting against the Texans? I don't think so. How do you and not taking into account the offensive line play in front of him and how much that impacts quarterback play? All right, so 3rd and 5, shotgun, 11 personnel, same stunt by the Patriots to the same side. Gets an immediate pressure in Stroud's face. It's man free with a 4-man rush. That's why I misspoke a moment ago. It's man free with a 4-man rush. I think you're getting the center stepping here to the 3 technique. The guard is going to step down. Guard is going to step down to the nose tackle in the A gap. 1 technique, 2-eye, whatever, and the DN's going to run through the B gap. It's the same thing that they've done. I think this is now the 3rd time. beats the right tackle horribly, and the D tackle looping also gets there. It really doesn't matter who's open. I mean, down at the bottom side of the screen, I think Jack Jones ends up slipping down again in coverage, third time over the course of the whole game on Tank Dell. But it doesn't matter in terms of C.J. Stroud actually having time to get the ball out there. Ends up being a roughing the passer penalty that allows the Texans offense to stay on the field. But, man, there's a part of me that thinks if you're a Texans fan at this point through two possessions, do you just want C.J. Stroud off the field because the Patriots D-line's getting so much pressure and put so many hits on him? All right, they got a first down off of that. Continuing his second possession, 11 personnel under center. Patriots have the perfect call for this little zone concept down into the boundary. What they're going to do is they're going to stunt this 3 technique inside, and it forces the guard to deal with him. And so consequently, this inside linebacker is able to scrape over the top into the vacated space. I mean, it's kind of basic. It's what people do. I think the Patriots really were a step ahead defensively of the Texans, what the Texans were coming out there to do, and what the Texans had on the field at the offensive line position in terms of just pure talent. So you get a 1-yard gain, 2nd and 9, 11 personnel, and you're going to have a boot to the field by Stroud, and yeah, he is going to slip and fall down, and he takes a heck of a shot at the end of the play. Completes the pass. I think it's a little late. I'd like to see him get the ball, even though he does stumble. You know, I'm recognizing the fact that he did stumble. I'm still saying I think he needs to get the ball out a little sooner. Maybe he was gathering his momentum to get himself to throw the football. I still think he could get this ball out a little sooner. It is tough, you know, being a right-hander moving to the left. It's like being a shortstop moving to your left, you know, behind second base and throwing the ball to first. It's tough. You're trying to get your hips, your chest, and your eyes all squared up. But I would just like to see him not take a shot like this because, you know, he's your starting quarterback. He's your quarterback of the future, and you don't want him getting put out for a while in a meaningless preseason game. Does get a 6-yard gain, I believe, out of that. 5-yard gain out of that creates a 3rd and 4. And again, you've got man free by Bill Belichick and the Patriots. The Texans do adjust their pass pro here, so I'll show you that in a moment. So they give Stroud time. I think he's unsure of the safety's location. I'm talking about Stroud. And the Patriots are comfortable. Look, the Patriots are comfortable with the leverage that this guy ends up with, okay? Right here. They're comfortable with it. And maybe you could get the ball to the tight end, you know, late coming back here. But what's happening is, you know, Nico Collins trying to run this away from the safety. And I think Stroud appears to be looking for that. And just that he isn't comfortable throwing the football there at this time. Maybe he's unsure of the safety's location. I'm certainly not talking about him throwing the ball vertical. I'm talking about him, you know, throwing the ball somewhere out in here and leading the guy out there. But the Patriots are comfortable with that leverage. Let's look at the pass pro that I'm talking about. So they have the center step to the 1 technique, and then the guard helps out on the tackle. So they leave these 2 guys back here one-on-one. So it's different than what I was talking about in the beginning. The 3 technique is over here, where the center was stepping to that, and the guard was dealing with this 1 technique, the guy who's in the A-gap, isolating the tackle on the D, and they do it the opposite this time. The center steps to this guy. That allows the tackle to get help from the guard on the edge rusher. And then backside, you're one-on-one with the guard and the tackle. So they've made a slight adjustment. And additionally, on that backside, I think this running back is at least giving the illusion that he could help out by releasing to that side. So he's at least mentally possibly slowing down that edge rusher. And they did give Stroud time. He ends up scrambling because of the huge hole that's created by the shot from the right guard. I think it's Michael Dieter, who's like a backup guard and center at this point. Would you say you'd like to see C.J. Stroud throw the ball here in the preseason? Of course. At this point, with the O-line that was on the field at that point, I think he probably felt like they were overmatched. And he's got to deal with plays on a play-by-play basis, on an individual basis. You know, execute whatever you're asked to execute on that specific play. It's got to be difficult, though, to know when you know that your O-line is totally overmatched. and having difficulty. And even on a play like the last one I showed you, 3rd and 4, I'd like to see him throw the ball to Nico Collins there or come back to the tight end on the downside of the screen. But he can't be looking at both sides of the field at the same time. We got to be realistic here. It's got, generally probably going to be one or the other. He hasn't been in the NFL except for 4 months, and doesn't know probably that the Patriots are and Bill Belichick are a man-free team. When you put the chips down on 3rd down, he's going to play man-free. You look at the defenders that he has; they're good at man coverage. I would say Stroud overall was a little bit hesitant to get rid of the ball. He'd really like to have that play back, the last one I just showed you. I think he'd probably really like to have the interception back, rightfully so, right? You guys let me know what you think. If you judge C.J. Stroud as harshly as so many other people are after 2 possessions in a preseason game with, Juice Scruggs and Kenyon Green are potential starters at this point with the Texans center being out for the year. I'm not even going to, try to pronounce his name. So you got 2 potential starters out there, but you've got 3 guys who really shouldn't see the field unless injuries are a real problem. Laramie Tunsil and Shaq Mason could have stepped on this field and changed the whole dynamic with their talent level. Not even to say Titus Howard, who's possibly out for another 3 or 4 weeks, something like that, and then Fant, who they've picked up to be his replacement for a while. Guys, let me know if you judge C.J. Stroud as harshly as other people do. I am not. After 2 possessions in the NFL, going to say that he can't turn things around. It's a guy who's very young, made a lot of plays in his career, and I think he was put in a difficult position against this Patriots defense. I think the Patriots defense was playing faster than his guys were ready for, and in some cases than C.J. Stroud himself was ready for in terms of not getting rid of the ball as soon as I'd like to see him do so. Appreciate you guys' time. If you think other Texans fans would appreciate this video or enjoy it, please consider grabbing a link to this video and sharing it somewhere on social media to help this video get more reach.